Hello dear students, myself Dr. Sachin Gurule, Assistant Professor from Department of Zoology of KTHM College, Nasik. In the previous video of subject entomology first, we are discussing the appendages belongs to the thoracic region among the insects, and we have completed the first kind of appendage which present on the thoracic part of the insect, that is the legs, the structure of leg, articulation of the leg, musculature of leg, and the different types of legs present in the insects. Now in this lecture, we are going to start with the second kind of appendages which are found on the thoracic region of the pterygote insect, and that appendages are commonly known as the wings. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss the morphology of wing, structure of wing, and the wing areas. So let's start first of all the introductory part for that wing. The insects are the only invertebrate organism which are magnificently characterized by position of the wing. Means among all the invertebrate organism belongs to the different phylum, the insects are only the exceptional group where they shows a presence of locomotion by flying, and this is one of the very peculiar or the characteristic feature among the pterygote insect or the winged insect. Except a pterygota and some secondarily wingless pterygotes, all modern insect bears laterally a pair of wings on each meso and metathoracic segment, and they are commonly called as the forewings and the hind wing. The forewings are present on the dorsolateral side of the mesothoracic segment, while the hind wings are present on the dorsolateral side of the metathoracic segment respectively. So both the pairs of wings may perform the flight as can be seen in majority of the insects, or in some insects only single pair or the one pair of wing can modified for the purpose of flying, and in other cases these are modified into the different structure known as the halters. So here in this diagram you can see the hind wing is get modified into the halter in case of the dipteran insect, as well as the forewings in case of the strepsipteran insect again is modified into the halter. In other cases, for example in case of the Coleoptera, here in this diagram you can see the forewings are becomes a very hard one, and this modification is known as the elytra. And due to the one pair of wing has a certain modification, so they are using another pair of the wing for the purpose of flight or for the purpose of flying purpose. So here in some insect both the pair of wings are useful for the purpose of flight, while in other insect one of the pair of wing undergoes a certain kind of the modification for imparting a several other functions. At that time the remaining pair of the wings are only useful for the purpose of flying or in the process of flight. The fully developed wings of all the insect appear as a thin, rigid flaps which are arising from the dorsolateral side between the pleura and nota of the meso and metathoracic segment. Each wing is consist of the thin membrane which is supported by the system of veins. So here in this diagram also you can see the wings are somewhat membranous, and these membranous areas of the wings are supported with the help of the veins. The membrane is formed by actually the two layers of the integument, and these two layers of integument closely opposed, while the veins are formed where the two layers are remain separated from one another, and the cuticle may be thicker and more heavily sclerotized, particularly at that region where two membranes are remain separated, and that position is taken by the veins. Now, each major vein contains the nerves, trachea, and since the cavity of these veins are connected with that of the hemocoel or the hemolymph, can flow into the wing very freely. So whatever body cavity is there, that body cavity is continuous with the cavity of the vein, and hence whatever hemolymph present into the coelom, that hemolymph can easily circulated or can easily pass on into the that veins which are hollow inside. So this is about the general characteristic feature for the wings of the insect. So let's see the morphological variations which are found among the insects. Now in some insects, a pair of hind wings in case of the Diptera and a pair of forewing in case of the Strepsiptera, they are reduced greatly and they are modified into the dumbbell shaped structure, and that dumbbell shaped structure is referred as a halter. So here in this first figure, you can see this is the Strepsipteran insect. Here you can able to see the wings, which is actually the hind wing, and this is a mesothoracic segment, and on the mesothoracic segment you can able to locate this dumbbell shaped structure, and this dumbbell shaped structure is known as a halter. So this kind of the modification is found among the two orders of insect. Hindwing in case of Diptera shows a presence of such a halter, and that is for Strepsiptera, their forewings are modified into the halter. So this is a one of the modification. Now in some groups of insect, both the pairs of wings are lost completely and giving a upterrus condition as a secondary adaptation to achieve the parasitic mode of life, which is evident into the few orders such as the Socoptera, Malophaga, Anapleura and Siphonoptera. So here in this diagram you can see the example of the head louse, which is belongs to the order Anapleura. Actually these insects are the pterygote insect, means they are characterized by having the wings. But as we all know that the head louse, they are having the ectoparasitic mode of their life, and they are living into the hairs of the body of their host, and for that purpose they do not require the wing for the purpose of flight, and hence the wings are absent particularly into the undeveloped stages, and this is known as a secondary upterrus condition. So such a secondary upterrus condition where wings are completely lost is a very common among the Socoptera, Malophaga, Anapleura and Siphonopteran insect. Also such a kind of the condition is also found into the some Hemipteran insect also. Then in Zygoptera, Isoptera, Mecoptera and Imbioptera, both the pair of wings, they are resembles with one another. These insects has both forewings as well as hindwing, but if you see the structure of forewing and the hindwing, the structure as well as size and the shape is exactly similar to one another, means resembling exactly identical wings present on the meso and metathoracic segment, which is the characteristic feature of the Zygoptera, Isoptera, Mecoptera and the Imbioptera. Then in other cases, the wings of one pair, they greatly differ from that of the other pair in case of the morphology. For example, the hind wings are generally larger in some insects than that of the forewing. So here in this diagram, you can see, so this is a forewing and this one is a hind wing. If you see the diagram, you can able to compare the forewing are comparatively much smaller than that of the hind wing. So this can be condition is very much evident into the order such as the Plecoptera, Dictyoptera and Orthoptera, where the hind wings are usually larger than that of the forewing. But the reverse condition can also be seen in other cases. For example, in the swallowtail butterflies, the tail-like projections which is found, which is a characteristic feature of the swallowtail butterfly. On contrary, some orders such as the Ephemeroptera, Hymenoptera and Lepidoptera, the reverse condition is you can able to notice where the forewings are usually larger in size than that of the hindwing, which are usually smaller. Means these kind of the variation that occurs or occurs into the insect that differ from group to group. In other insects, some orders, one sex is having the winged condition and second one is having the Brachypterus condition. Means the gender wise presence of wing can be noticed among some insect orders. For example, in case of the diagram of this mealybug, you can see, so this is a female and this one is a male. All the females belongs to that mealybug, they do not provided with any kind of the wings. But if you see their males, their looks quite differently than that of the female also. Not only that, but they are provided with the wings. So here in this case, the wings are present in the males while it is absent into the females. So such a kind of the condition or reverse condition may also seen into the some caucids, some Embioptera, Strepsiptera, Mutillidae and Chalcidae, where one of the sex, either male or female, is there provided with the wings and their opposite sex are not provided with the wings, showing a Brachypterus condition. Now in case of the order Isoptera and among the Hymenoptera, particularly the black ant, the wings are only present at the in the case of virgin reproductive individuals only. So here in this diagram you can see the different caste of the carpenter ants, where only the reproductive caste they are provided with the wings, and once the reproduction over, the wings are generally shed off. So this can be the condition is very common among the carpenter ants which are belongs to the Hymenoptera. Now similar kind of the condition you will found in case of the Isoptera also. Only at the reproductive stages they are provided with the wings. Once they reproduce, they shed their wings and they leads a secondary Opterus condition for the remaining life. So these are the different kinds of the variation you can able to observe among the wings of the insect. Then forewings are appears to be extensively sclerotized among some insects. That can be present into the Orthoptera, Dictyoptera, Dermaptera, Phasmida. So in all these first orders, the partial sclerotization you can able to observe among the forewing, and this is referred as the hemielytra. So here the plant bug they are also provided with such a kind of the hemielytra, where the sclerotization is generally occurs into the forewing. Or in case of the Coleoptera, that degree of sclerotization is very high and these forewings are completely modified into the highly sclerotized structure which are known as the elytra, and this elytra is only having the purpose of the protection and it is do not involve in the process of the flight, and uh, such a kind of the modification is found into the Coleoptera. While in case of the Heteroptera, only the basal part of the wing is sclerotized and the distal portion of the wing is remains membranous one. Such a kind of the condition is referred as the hemielytra, which is common into the heteropteran bugs, belongs to the Hemiptera. So in this way, the different insect has a different morphological variation which are found among the insects belongs to the Pterygota, and some are the secondarily Opterus where the wings are completely absent. So this is about the morphological variation of the wings. Then the next topic, that is the structure of wing. Now during the post-embryonic development, wings either they develop as a external lateral wing pads on either side of the meso and metathorax, and this can be the condition is found into the exopterygote insect. So here in this diagram you can see the example of the red cotton bug nymph, where you can able to locate. So these are a small birds which are actually the wing birds. That wing birds are developed from the external side. So this kind of the development of the wing is a characteristic feature of the exopterygote insect, where the wings are developed as a external lateral wing pads or the wing birds which are get developed. And while in the other insects, in case of the Endopterygota, The wing buds are developed from the internal side. So this is a pupa of the moth. You can see, so these are the wings. That wings are developed in the form of the wing disc, which develop from the internal side, and then they are completely developed as the pupal instar is complete. And this is the characteristic feature of the insect, which are known as the endopterygote insect. Now in the adult insect, wings appears as a thin, transparent or leathery, partially pigmented or darkly sclerotized. Sometimes it is fan-like, flattened and the membranous structure. Means among the different insects at a adult condition, wing has a much variation in their structure also. We have already discussed a many kind of the morphological variations which are found into the wings of the insect. The wings bear a group of sclerites at the basal region, a complex of longitudinal and the cross vein throughout the wing body, and also the various types of the sense organ and pigment which are present on the wing. So this is a diagram of the basal part of the wing. You can see, so this is a basalmost part of the wing which is take part into the process of articulation with the meso and metathoracic segment respectively. They are provided with a group of sclerites, and these sclerites, they are the structure which are help the wings to get articulate with that of the main body of the thorax of the insect. In addition, these wings are also provided with a different kinds of the veins, and which are actually the supportive network like structure which is scattered among the whole wing lamina. In addition, many of the insect, they possesses a special receptors, and these receptors acting as a sense organ. These sense organ are useful for some sort of the sensation. Particularly, they responsible for giving a determination of direction of wind movement, etc., or sometimes they are providing the information for the purpose of navigation. So in this way, the wing possesses a basal sclerite, veins and different kind of the sense organ, of which the basal sclerite, these basal sclerites are exclusively used for the performing the articulation of the wing with that of the thorax, as they rotate with one another and are also innervated by the various kind of the muscles which are originating from the endoskeleton of the thorax, which is referred as the thoracic flight muscles. And these thoracic flight muscles are innervated into the endoskeleton of the thorax, that is known as endothorax, and these basal sclerites which are present at the basal region of the wing. That wing bears a specific pattern of the vein which is referred as the vein venation or wing venation, which is derived from a unique arrangement of the veins. The veins, they provide a mechanical support, and they also assist in a wing folding mechanism in case of the neopteran insect, which are having the ability to fold their wings or flex their wings on the abdomen, particularly at the resting condition. And the third, that is sense organ which are present on the wings, which are concentrated particularly at the basal part of the wing, at the proximal part of the wings, and these sense organ plays a very important role in determining the direction of wind, then wing movement and the navigation during the flight. So all these are the functions which are contributed by the sense organ which are located at the basal part of the wing. Often they are present on the proximal or the basal most part of the wings. The wings often have a smooth dorsal surface, but among the Lepidopteran insect, the wing lamina, they are covered with the scales, while in case of the Trichoptera and Diptera, that wing lamina, they are provided with a some hair-like outgrowth, which provides a brilliant pigmentation and hairy covering respectively in the insects belongs to the order Lepidoptera, Trichoptera and the Diptera. The wings are somewhat triangular in shape. If you see the overall shape of the wing, it looks somewhat rough triangular. It possesses a three distinct margin. These three distinct margin are, so this margin is referred as the anterior margin or the costal margin. Follow the arrow here in the diagram. So this is the first margin of the wing, which is referred as the anterior margin, and it is also referred as a costal margin. Costal margin because at the anterior margin of the wing of each and every insect, there is a presence of vein which is known as the costa or the costal vein. As the costal vein, it is a starting point of the wing, hence that margin of the wing is designated as the costal margin. So this is the first margin. Then second one is referred as the outer margin. This outer margin is also referred as a apical margin, or in some cases it is also referred as a termen, which is the outermost part of the wing and representing a second margin. And the third margin is referred as the inner margin. The inner margin is also referred as the anal margin. Why anal margin? Again, at this margin, the veins are named as the anal vein. And due to the presence of anal vein at this margin, the third margin of the wing is also referred as the anal margin. Then in some insects, the inner margin of the wing is also referred as the dorsum. So in this way, the wing is having a somewhat triangular shape, are provided with a three distinct margin: anterior or costal margin, outer or apical margin, or is also referred as a termen, and inner or anal margin, or it is also referred as the dorsum. The costal margin sometimes contains a pigmented spot which is well evident into the order Odonata, for example dragonfly. And when this pigmented spot is present on the costal margin of the wing, this is referred as the pterostigma. The pterostigma is one of the characteristic feature of the odonate insect, which is present into the sometimes forewing, and in some cases that pterostigma, which is a pigmented spot, can be found in both the wings at particularly the costal margin. So this is about the structure. So let's see the detail part of the basal area of the wing, that is the wing base. In case of the Ephemeroptera and Odonata, the chitinous wing base is continued with a lateral walls of the thorax, while in rest of the insect, several sclerites are uniformly grouped at the basal region. So here in both the diagram, you can see the number of sclerites are aggregated or concentrated particularly at the base of the wing, and these perform a composite joint by which the wing articulates with that of the thorax. Means primary structure of these sclerites which are located at the wing base is a articulation. These sclerite includes a tegula, then axillary cord, different kinds of the axillaries, then median plate, humeral and axillary plates. So all these are the sclerites which are concentrated at the basal region of the wing, and these are concerned with the articulation of the wing. So let's see one by one. First of all, the tegula. The tegulae are mostly confined to the forewings, particularly in case of the three order, that is Lepidoptera, Hymenoptera and Diptera. So here if you see the forewing and the anterior margin of the forewing, at the basalmost part there is a presence of the tegula. So this is a tegula which is located at the basal part of the anterior margin, or it is present at the base of the costal vein as a small hairy chitinous pad or scale-like sclerite. So here you can see the somewhat hairy structure is there. So this part is referred as a tegula, which are taking a position of the basal part of the costa. So this is a costal vein and this is the basal region. This term as the tegula. It may occur in some insect in the form of chitinous plate, which is overlapping actually the wing base. but generally the tegula is a outgrowth which is found at the basal part of the costal vein. So this is about the tegula. Then second one is the axillary cord. The axillary cord is the lobe-like structure lying closely with that of the velar margin. So this is a velar margin, and this is a cord-like structure which is known as the axillary cord in this diagram. So it is often appear as a ligament and known as the articular membrane. So this articular membrane gives the posterior articulation of the wing, whereas the tegula is giving the anterior articulation. So this is about the axillary cord. The next one is the different kinds of the axillaries. There are total 3 axillaries can be well marked among the basal part of the wing. The first axillary, it always lies at the base of subcostal vein. So if you see this diagram, so this first vein is referred as a costal vein, and the vein which is immediate to the costal vein is referred as a subcosta and can be designated by capital SC, that is subcosta. So whatever first sclerite which is present at the basal part of the subcosta is referred as the first axillary, and sometimes it articulates with the anterior nodal wing processes and divided into the two parts, but not always they are divided into two parts. In some cases only they are divided into the two parts, and whatever nodal processes of there, that particularly for the tergum, these nodal processes has the role of articulation of the wing, particularly with that of the first axillary of the wing. Then second axillary, this second axillary is accommodates at the base of radial vein. Now the third vein among the insect is known as a radius, and whatever sclerite which is present at the basal part of the radial vein, this is referred as the second axillary. It articulates with the first axillary from the proximal side with the wing processes of the pleuron from the distal margin. And then after the third axillary, this third axillary is lies between the bases of the anal vein. Means each and every axillary is always lies at the basal part. First axillary is present at the subcosta, then second axillary is present at the basal part of the radial vein, while this is a third axillary which is present at the base of the anal vein. And the fourth axillary, it articulates directly with the posterior nodal processes, and the fourth axillary is present only in case of Orthoptera and Hymenoptera. So remaining insect usually they are only having a 3 axillaries, but the fourth one is only present belongs to the order Orthoptera and Hymenoptera. It articulates with the posterior nodal processes proximally and with the third sclerite from the distal portion. So in this way, so all these are the axillary which are located at the basal part of wing. They has important role in articulation of this wing with that of the thoracic region. The next one is a median plate. So here in this diagram you can see the median plate. This median plate occur in a pair. One of the median plate is associated with the basal part of the media. So this is a medial vein, and at the basal region the sclerite is there, which is a median plate, or it is closely opposed with the third axillary. So this is the third axillary, it is the closely opposed to that of the third axillary. Both the median plates are separated by an oblique membranous fold. So here in this diagram you can see this is a membranous fold which is responsible for separating the pair of the median plates which are present at the basal region, particularly at the basal region of the medial vein. And the last one is a humeral and the axillary plate. In case of Odonata, besides the anterior well-developed humeral plate, there is a posterior plate, that is axillary plate, at the basis of 4 postcostal vein. It articulates with the posterior half of the lateral membranous margin and with one of the arm of pleural wing process. So this axillary plate is a characteristic of only the odonatal insect, which is well evident into the odonates only, and in remaining insect it is not that evident. So this is about the wing base containing a different kinds of the sclerite, which is assisting the process of articulation of the wing with that of the thorax. And the next topic, that is the wing areas or the regions. Now the entire body of wing is differentiated broadly into the basal articular or the axillary region. So this axillary region just we have learned right now, which contains a different kinds of the sclerite and has the role of attachment of the wing with that of the thorax region, while the rest of the region of the wing is referred as alar region. So this is a alar region of the wing. So here in this diagram you can see, so this is the axillary region which has the where the concentration of the different kinds of the sclerites is occur. So except this part, whatever remaining region is there, this whole area of the wing is referred as the alar region. The alar region can further be divided into the three subregions, which are distinctly separated by the folding lines in several insects. So all these are the folding lines which are present in the wings, where the alar region of the wing is further divided into the subregion. The first one is the vernal fold. This vernal fold is responsible for separating the anterior region, which is known as a remigium. So this is the anterior most part of the alar region, which is known as a remigium. This remigium is separated by this presence of this vernal fold from that of the second region, which is known as the venous region. This venous region is a posterior part of the alar region, while remigium is the anterior part. So here in this diagram you can see, so this whole area is referred as a alar region. The anterior portion is referred as the remigium and posterior portion is referred as the venous region. Now similarly, another fold, this fold is referred as a jugal fold. This jugal fold differentiates the jugum. So this is a jugum which is the analmost part of the alar region, which is separate from the lobe like the venal region. So this is a venous region, or in some cases it is also referred as anal region because it containing a anal vein. So which is a lobe like structure, and this lobe like structure is separated from the jugum by this jugal fold. So in this way the whole wing consists of or broadly categorized into the two regions, axillary region and the basal region, and remaining alar region. Further, this alar region, due to the presence of some folding line, is differentiated into the remigium, which is anterior, venous, which is posterior, and the jugum, which is the anal region of the wing. So in this way, the wings of the insect is always having such a kind of the condition. So here in this diagram also you can see, whether it is forewing or whether it is hindwing, the basal part is always having the axillary region and remaining region is referred as the alar region. But this alar region can be well distinguished into the remigium, venous and jugum, particularly into the orthopteroid insect in case of the hindwing than that of the forewing. But yes, all these subdivisions of the alar region can well recognize in the wings of each and every pterygote insect. So with this, we have completed the introductory part for the wings as an appendage of the thorax among the insect, then structure of wing and the wing areas and the region. Thank you very much.